Good morning, everybody. Good Chodesh. We're holding a Parshas Bekudei. We're holding chapter 39, verse number 2. V'yasas ha'ephod, and he made the ephod. Zahav techeles v'agaman. He made the ephod out of gold, blue wool, purple wool, and crimson wool. Lashani v'sheish mazuzah, and twisted fine linen. V'yerkus parchei hazav, and then he hammered out sheets of gold. V'kitzeitz pstilim, and cut out threads. Lasa b'seichat cheles, which the gold, to put the gold in between the wool. B'seich hargamen, between the purple wool. B'seich tlas hashani, between the crimson wool. B'seich sheish, and between the fine linen. Ma'aseh choshev, which were the work of master weaver. Rashi said, "Vayarku, l'reika l'reika haaretz," is spread out. L'reika means to spread out over the world. Spread out. They hammered thin plates of gold to extend into thin sheets. Here the text. Here the text teaches us how they spun the gold together with the wool thread. They would hammer the gold into thin sheets and cut threads out of them along the length of the sheet in order to work those threads, to combine them with each kind of color material in the choshen and in the ephod, about which gold is mentioned. To exclude them, one thread of gold was intertwined into 6 threads of blue, and similarly, each kind of wool, each kind of thread had 6 strands. Each thread had 6 strands, and a gold was a 7th of each strand. He made connections, shoulder straps to both of its ends. It was entirely connected. And the decorated band, which was above it, it was emanated from the ephod, from the same work of gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool. Lashani, and twisted line v'sheish mazuzah, twisted fine linen. Kasher tziva Hashem Moshe, as God commanded Moshe. And then he prepared the shoyim stones and enclosed them in gold settings. They were engraved to the engraving into the seal, which names of the children of the sons of Israel. He put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod. Avnei Zikaron, they were stones of remembrance. V'nei Yisrael, to the Jewish people. Kasher tziva Hashem Moshe, which God commanded Moshe. And he made the choshen, the work of master weavery. Like the work of the ephod. He made it out of gold, blue, and purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen. It was square, which they made the choshen, doubled it. Length 1 span, and width 1 span, doubled. It was doubled over. Then he filled them with 4 rows of stones. 1 row was oidem, pitida, berekes, oidem, pitam, berekes. Torah Echa was the first row. Torah Sheni, Neifech, Saper, Yalim. The second row was Neifech, Saper, and Yalim. Torah Shlishi, Leshem, Shvei, V'achlama, and the third row the third row is Leshem, Shmei, and Achlama. Torah Levi, the fourth row was Tarshish, Shoya, V'yashva, and they were enclosed in gold settings in their fillings. And then these stones were the names of the Jewish people. 12 to the 12 names of the tribe. It was all engraved. Each tribe to his name. The to the 12 tribes. And then he made chains at the edge. They were cable like Zav Tur was pure gold. And then he made 2 golden settings. Shtei tabeis zav and 2 golden rings. Vayitna shtei tabeis al shtei ktseis hachosh. They put the 2 rings at the 2 ends of the chosh. Vayitna shtei tabeis al shtei tabeis, and then he placed the 2 golden cables in the 2 rings, ktseis hachosh, which was at the corners of the chosh. Shtei ktseis tabeis nost, and then he took he took 2 ends of the cable, and he placed them upon the 2 steadings of the shoyam. And he put the straps of the apron in front of him, in front part. Then he made 2 golden rings, and he placed them on the 2 ends of the choshen, on the edge that faced the inner side of the ephod. His face, and then he made 2 golden rings and placed them on the 2 shoulder straps of the ephod from below towards his front, adjacent to the stream above the band of the ephod. And then they fastened this ephod mitabas al tabas, from ring to ring. Sealed tchelas with a blue wool. It would be upon the band of the ephod. So the choshen would not move from the ephod, like God commanded. That finished the Chumash. We'll now go to the Tanya of the day. Holding middle of chapter 34 of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is talking about the Mishkan, the building of the Mishkan, and why the Mishkan was important. That after the story of the golden calf, the Eibishter gave the Yidden Shechanti B'Seicham. The Eibishter wanted that he would dwell in the midst of the Am Yisrael, so therefore he asked him to make a Mishkan. The Alter Rebbe points out below that when one specific place is singled out as an abode for God presence, despite the fact that the Eibishter fills the entire earth, as the pasuk says, the Eibishter is full. God fills the entire earth. The uniqueness of this site lies in the revelation of godness which occurs there. The Eibishter fills the earth. Sure, every part of the earth and every stone is God. But it's all about the concept of revelation of God. That there's a concept where God is more revealed, and there's a concept where God is more hidden. Where God's unity as the soul, as the soul existence being stands concealed. In the abode of God's presence, it's clearly apparent that there's naught besides it. We thus see that the revelation of God's unity, which the Jewish people experienced at Mount Sinai, but which they could not endure, was continued by the means of the sanctuary, the Beis Hamikdash. But when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, so where do we have the revelation of God today? The temple was destroyed. And where does God have his dwelling? Where is the unity of God? Where do we see the oneness of God in the world today? The Eibishter abodes in the 4 cubits of Jewish law. Expression the Gemara. Adam is the space of a human being is 4 amis, and that is what is the source, and what is the human being's godliness in this world. His source of God is halacha. When he follows halacha, that's why it's called halacha. Halacha means the concept of going, the way a person goes in life, the way a person travels in his day-to-day life is through halacha. He follows halacha, and he goes in his life the way the halacha tells him to do, the way halacha tells him. Why? Why does he follow life in the concept of halacha? Because halacha is the kind of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Halacha is where the Eibishter, so to say, resides. Halacha sets out before us are the actual embodiment of God's will and wisdom of God, which is one with God. The halacha ruling represents divine will, and what underlines is divine wisdom. Hence, in the Torah, God's unity stands revealed. And therefore, therefore, after one meditates deeply, according to his ability, the subject of the above mentioned self-nullification, let him reflect in his heart as follows: Zeis Yashim Elibay. The capacity of my intelligence and my soul root is too limited. My capability, my capacity is not so great, and therefore it's impossible for me to be like the others, as a makov, as a charity of God, where God is revealed in me in a revealed manner. For my thought cannot be grasped or apprehended his unity at all with any degree of comprehension in the world, because I am limited, very limited. I'm a human being, and not only a human being, but the source of my soul is not so great, and therefore it's impossible for me to be able to reveal within me a true emes revelation of godness. Not an iota, in fact, of that which was grasped by the patriarch, the prophets, who were God's chariot and abode by the virtue of their awareness of God's unity as they grasp it. So, how can I, as a simple person, simple Jew, be able to become a makava to the Eibishter? You say that the Eibishter, Hashem zu halacha, so that the Eibishter, when I do halacha, I reveal the rotzin and the chachma of the Eibishter. I'm not capable. I'm incapable. As nevertheless, this being so, I will make him a sanctuary and abode by studying Torah. According to my free time. Everybody in Shulchan Aruch is in halacha is obligated to make a time in learning Torah, whether in the morning, a time to learn Torah in the morning, and a time to learn Torah at night. Right? Some people, you're in yeshiva, you're obligated to learn Torah. Gisa b'yom v'layla. Yom v'layla means you have to study Torah day and night totally. But if you're not a Talmud, you're not a yeshiva bacha, you're a person that works, then you have to make a time in the morning and a time in the night to learn Torah. And you got to put away that time. It has to be like a mishkan. You have to make a time, a space and time for God. The command is not 24/7 because I'm incapable of doing that. The command is I should make a time and space in my life every day, every morning, and every evening. I should make a time which I put aside, and I sit and learn Torah, and I sit and I study a parsha, I study a Gemara or Chassidus, whatever it might be, and that's the way I do it. Kedas hanitna l'chol echad ve'echad, like it's stipulated in the law governing each individual. V'hilchos Talmud Torah, in the law of learning Torah, there's nobody who's exempt from learning Torah. Whether he's a student, whether he's a businessman, everybody has an obligation, has a mitzvah in Talmud Torah, has a mitzvah to learn Torah. Some for the suit, some people have to learn more Torah, and some people are not obligated, so they have to learn less Torah. But they're obligated in limit Torah. As the sages say, even if you would learn one chapter in the morning and one chapter at night, that's the mitzvah. That's what you can handle. And that's your capability to learn one chapter in the morning and one chapter in the night. Then that's your capacity. And that's your mitzvah. And then you accomplish that mitzvah. It suffices for one who can manage no more for him to be regarded as engaged in study of Torah day and night. So the Alter Rebbe says, if it's impossible for you to learn 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, then that's you the mitzvah. Then if you accomplish that by learning Torah every morning and every evening, you take the time that you could do, and you learn Torah in that time, you did the mitzvah of a Gisa b'yom v'layla. You did the mitzvah of learning Torah by day and by night. And that's your mitzvah. Therefore, by fulfilling this minimal quota, I too will become an abode for God. As David says, if I learn Torah every morning and every night, then I put away that time. I don't do other things while I'm learning Torah, but I sit and I learn Torah. Let it be 10 minutes in the morning. Let it be 10 minutes at night. Whatever it might be, put aside that time. Make a space. What's the point of a Mishkan? The Mishkan is making a space in this world. Even though the Eibishter created the whole world, the Eibishter is in the whole world, but then the Eibishter wants to be revealed in this world. And he doesn't want to be in a hidden way. He wants to be in a revealed way. How does a person do that? Is when he separates the time. He puts aside the time. And he makes that time and he's focused on that time. In Limud HaTorah. He doesn't do other things. He doesn't daven. He doesn't do other. He's puts it away and sits and learns. And that's what he does. That's the way he makes a time for the Eibishter. And so too in time of davening. When you daven, to daven. And to learn and to daven when you daven. And make that time. Make it a time and a space. You know, even in davening, every person should have their makom kavua. So not only should they have a time when they daven and they focus on that time, but they should have a makom. They should make a time and space. You know, Chassidus explains, you have olam, shana, nefesh. You have time, space, and soul. We need to make in time and in space nefesh, that the soul resides in that time and space. So if the nefesh resides totally, God resides totally in that time and space. So not that the Eibishter, that time and space is also other things involved. Because then it's very limited, even the mitzvah you're doing. Because the mitzvah has other things involved. You need to make the time. You need to make the space. You're not a tzaddik. You're not a navi. You're not Moshe Rabbeinu. You're not Avraham Avinu. That you're 24/7. Make a time. Make a time for learning Torah. Make it a mishkan. That's it. Shachanti b'seicha kol echad v'echad. David says, make for me a time. Make a time. Just like you work, you have a time. Make a time for Limud HaTorah. And that time is holy. Nothing can break that time. Not a phone call, not a business deal, nothing can break that time, because that time is given over. That time, whatever it might be, is Kodesh, is totally holy. And then you make Var Hashem Zu Halacha. Then it becomes, that's what the Gemara says. Where is the space of God? There's no Beis Hamidrash. Where is the space of God when a Yid takes the time in this world and he separates himself from everything and he learns? Doesn't make a difference how much, because the Eibishter by God doesn't make a difference how much. It's important that you take the time, that you take a place, you put yourself in a place, and you take the time, and you cut yourself off from everything else, and you sit and learn. And now you made a space for the Eibishter in this world. Your Pashut made a space and a time for God in this world. And the beauty is that it never leaves. That it means even if you 10 minutes of learning, you went to business, whatever you went to, it doesn't make a difference. You have made a place for the Eibishter. And once the Eibishter comes down into the world, Kedusha leizazmim kaimeh. The Kedusha never leaves. The Kedusha never leaves. But you need to make that the time should be Kaddish. And the space should be Kaddish. When the Alter Rebbe says, if you can do that, even though it's limited, 10 minutes, it's limited. But he should be the happiest. He should be rejoiceful. And he should be glad. Al chelkai, on his chelik, that he that only can give 10 minutes every day. And he, Pashid, in his 10 minutes, brought the Eibishter to the world. Taka not a tzaddik, he's not Avraham Avinu, but he brought the Eibishter, his 10 minutes, he brought God down into the world. So he should be the happiest that Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave him a schus to simply bring him down to the world. And the Eibishter gave each and every one of us the capability to bring him Pashid down in the world. But Tov Levav, he should do it thankfully and a great fortune. Al Zacha, that he merited, that he can be a host for the Almighty. I can become the Mishkan of the Eibishter. I can be the sanctuary of time and space to bring holiness in the world. The Eibishter gave us all a zchus. He said in Adam, the Eibishter wanted to give us all a merit. Not that we're gonna become tzaddikim through this. Not that we're gonna become anything special. We should have a zchus every day. Again, it doesn't make a difference how much time. If you give more is more. But it doesn't make a difference. That 10 minutes that I've separated myself from everything, I'm learning Torah. Giving away this time is making, I have become, every single one of us here right now has become a host for the Almighty. Dvar Hashem is Mekayim Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I brought Mekayim Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu right here in this place. Through his Torah study, which he causes to him to be a sanctuary for God. Twice a day. According to the extent of his available time. And according to the capacity. First of all, you have to have the space. You have to have the time. Every person according to his capability of how much time he has. Which God granted him. So if God granted you to learn a half an hour a day, 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, that is what God granted you. And you should be the happiest that for that 10 minutes or that half an hour, that hour, whatever the time is, you should be the happiest that Baruch Hashem, I can bring the Eibishter into the world. And I can make this world mekoymai. I can not only that the world, the whole world is godly, but I can make a revelation of God in this world. Baruch Hashem, by my limit HaTorah, by my aspect of learning Torah, Dvar Hashem Zu Halacha, to be able to bring down and learn Torah and bring the Eibishter down to the world. I should be the happiest person in the world that I was Zeicha Baruch Hashem to do that. Every person on his level, we have this Chus Baruch Hashem to bring the Eibishter into the world right now. We're doing it right now by limit HaTorah right now as we learn Torah. And we learn together Torah, we have actually brought the Eibishter into the world. Each one of us brought the Eibishter, God into his Mishkan, his private world, and you became an abode for HaKadosh Baruch Hu at this present time. And that's the beauty, one of the beautiful teachings of the Alter Rebbe, empowered each and every one of us to realize the power that we have through learning of Torah, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, an hour, whatever it might be, we push it at that moment. If we separate ourselves and we put ourselves aside and learn Torah without any distractions, and we give that time for limit Torah, we push it. Whether you see the revelation, whether you don't see the revelation, that is the fact. You brought down the Eibishter, you brought down God's revelation in the world in a way that this world, that this mucking, this space, this physical space, wherever you're sitting, this time, which we just gave up for half an hour, 20 minutes, we just gave up for limit Torah, for the learning of Torah. We made this place a Mishkan Hashem. And I myself became a Mishkan. I became a place for the dwelling house of God in this world. No greater happiness. And that's why the best thing to do is to learn Torah in the morning, to make the Eibishter dwell in you, and you become a vehicle for God. And now you go on your rest of the day. And you go do what you got to do. And the Mitzvah Shem comes in the afternoon, take another 10 minutes, sit down and learn some Torah, make the world again a mishkan for the Eibishter, and you have a good night's sleep. And that's the way you should do in life. Yisa b'yomim v'layla. You should learn Torah every morning and every night. And that completes the Chumash of the day. The time of the day. Today is the first day of the month. It's Chodesh Adar Sheni. The Tillim of the day is chapter 1 through chapter 9. If you do those 9 chapters, you do the chitas of the day. I wish you all a good Chodesh Tov. I wish you all a wonderful day. May it be a Chodesh Hashanepachem, Yagal Simcha. Maybe we should turn this month into joy, from negative to positive, from darkness to light, sadness to joy. God bless you all. Have a wonderful